Good morning. So I'm just out here in the garden right now, and we are just going to be doing what I like to call the sunshine dance. So what that means is I'm going to be pulling some of my plants in and out of the greenhouse, and I have a new tray out from my grow room. So I will be putting them out, give them a little bit of sunshine, and this process is called hardening off. So it's very important to harden off your seedlings. I see a lot of people, they start their seeds from scratch, they baby them all month, the last few months, and then they just stick them out in the elements, and then they wonder why they don't do so well. So definitely make sure you take the time. It can be a little annoying, but it's very important to harden off your seedlings. So if you have stretches of bright sunshiny days, and my tree in all its glory, then what you want to do is you want to put your babies out for, say, an hour the first day, a couple hours the next day. You can start them off in the shade. What I'm going to do today, as you can see, is I will be putting them all out in the grass, and they'll be in the shade for half the day and in the sun for half the day. So just kind of where the sun moves in the yard. So if I put them here near the fence, then I know that the sun doesn't really hit this area until around noon, and then they'll be fine for the rest of the afternoon because they have been out for 3 or 4 days already. So I'm just going to start pulling stuff out, and then I'm going to be pulling the lids off of my winter sowing containers. They're sitting over here, and I've hardened them off long enough. I'm just going to take the lids off all the way so they get plenty of sunshine, and then I'm going to be planting stuff probably next week. So we're getting there. It's very exciting, and everything seems to be doing really well out here in the garden. So without further ado, let's get these plants outside. Do a quick overview. I'll show you what we got out here. These are my tiny Tims and cilantro, and this one are my dwarf gold pearl, and these guys are just chocked full of babies. My tiny Tim have quite a few little babies on them too, not as many as these guys yet. And then the rest of my first batch of peppers. So I have the New Mexico 6, which I think are these ones. I have some Aliuso, I can't remember, the thin-skinned Italian, slightly hot pepper, and then the Buena Malata there. Over here I have a mixture of canna lilies and some calla lilies. Over here, my wave petunias, mainly the purple, and a few stalks. My bowl, that's going to end up going in my urn out front, and a few cilantro. And then this is the rest of the... These are all supposed to be pink wave petunias, but apparently when I potted up, I mistook a few of the purple ones for the pink ones. It's very hard to tell the seedlings apart. And there's a few hibiscus here and a few of the white wave petunias, but then the rest are all these climbing petunias, which you can see they're much more of a vertical growth habit than the wave petunias, which are more of a spreading plant. So that'll be very interesting to kind of see them together in containers. I think they look really pretty together. These are really nice. And then over here we have the rest of the tomatoes. Now these ones were started beginning of April, I think. So they're much younger than the tiny Tims, because those were all started in beginning of February. So they have, several weeks of growth on them. So I have all varieties of tomatoes. My vanilla marigolds look like they're going to start getting little flower buds in there. That's very exciting. These here are my rose mallow. These are the cranberry hibiscus, which are similar to the mahogany hibiscus. So I'm growing those mainly for foliage. They're going to be like a nice little shrub. And then interspersed, I have some red amaranth, just kind of where I had a few extra cells. I tucked those in, and then I have tucked in here are some huckleberry plants. So I have 3 huckleberries in there. So that's kind of exciting. We'll see what they end up becoming. I've never grown them before, but I got the seeds from Baker Creek. Here's the rest of my peppers and some cabbage. This says red cabbage, and this says red cabbage. cabbage. They're supposed to all be the same, but obviously they're not, so I don't know exactly what's going on with that. But here's all my peppers. These are my cayennes. They're getting really big. These peppers were not liking how cold it was out here. I probably should have brought them in the house, but once we get some heat, they'll kick into gear. And then over here I have my cinnamon that and the basil I just potted up in that last video. My 2 mammoth sunflowers are doing good. My cinnamon basil that I put into the, well, I don't think I showed you at the end of the video. These are the little grow bags that I made last year out of landscape fabric. So if you're interested in that, I do have a blog post that I did on my sewing blog, and I can link that down below, as well as the video where I did them in the other grow bags. Then down here, we potted these up last week. I don't really see much growth on them yet, but they're doing all right. These are the canna lily bulbs. Up here, some of my other stuff I just brought out the other day. So I have my red amaranth, some gomphrena, some datura. These here are my cosmos that I brought from down up in the room. I swapped them out of the other tray of the other things that hadn't germinated. So I brought down my cosmos and my cardinal climbers, which are doing amazing. They keep trying to take over the wires in here. I have some, look at these. They're so tiny, and I started these seeds ages ago, so I don't know, they're just super slow growers or whatever. But this is my portulaca. I've got, I don't know, like three of them that sprouted. They're so tiny. These are my Indian blanket. These are my drumsticks from Renee. Thanks, Renee, from RB Nanny. And these are more of the huckleberries. So I just potted up what I had room for. Over here I have some zinnias, more zinnias, and then this said they were gomphrena. But as you likely can tell, that's a tomato. So I'm not sure what tomato plants these are, because I have a feeling it's one of those things where the seeds kind of washed out into the tray, and they could be. So we got some mystery tomatoes coming up, so that's kind of exciting. Over here, my nasturtiums. They're supposed to all be nasturtiums. These are definitely not nasturtiums. This one probably is, so I don't know. I think I was a little too impatient on some of my soil blocks and reused the soil. And that's what happens when you don't give them some time. So then over here, my loofah, they're doing pretty good. Looking a little dry. And then the rest of the seeds. So I planted these on Saturday, I think it was. So nothing sprouting quite yet, but hopefully we'll have, oh, look at, I just see this now. Hello, little sunflower. So we have one multi-head sunflower coming up. So that's exciting. We'll have to see what else sprouts out. So then that's the lemon basil over there. Here's my hibiscus that I bought last year, and it bloomed out front, and it has been blooming all winter long. It's been putting out these gorgeous yellow blooms. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see them over there. All winter long, it's been putting out gorgeous blooms. So I decided to bring her out into the greenhouse, give her a little bit of extra heat and some love, and see what she does this summer. I cannot believe how many blooms have come off this very, I mean, you can see how small it is. Small little plant, and I'm just crazy the number of blooms on it, and you can see the growth. Like it's getting ready for summer. So quick update over here. I have the kohlrabi that I winter sowed that I planted, and it's doing really well. And then okay, so I threw in a few radishes, and then I threw in some arugula over there. And then I thought, oh, you know what? I'll put in a couple of the cabbage and see what they do. And you can see how much bigger they are than the ones that were in the tray. So they did really good in here. But then all of my arugula and all my radishes seem to all be sprouting. So I'm going to have to come in and thin stuff out in a little bit. But they're doing really well. And then back here I have my bachelor's buttons that I started in the winter sewing containers. And they're doing really good there. The garden's kind of in a sad... It's not quite in its glory yet. But hopefully in a couple weeks everything will be doing really good and blooming. So my straw flowers I planted a while ago in that cool flowers video. They're there. I planted out my forget-me-nots from the winter sewing containers. Some more straw flowers, and my clarkia are up there from the cool flowers video. We planted in some more hollyhocks and some lupins. And then I just transplanted this peony here from my neighbor. We did a swappy swap. She has a really nice soft pink peony, and I had a dark pink peony. So I gave her some of mine, took some of hers. So the peonies are doing really well. And these are crazy. These are my snapdragons from last year. They're coming up. With some weeds coming up in there. But yeah, these are the snapdragons. So they're doing really, really well. And I'm slightly terrified because I don't know exactly. I believe these are my alyssum. It has self-seeded in here. And look at that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these seedlings all end up being. I don't quite need that many. Oh, look, there's a lupin who's reseeded itself. Little irises, lilies. My lupins are coming up. It looks like something on my honeysuckle this year. It was up in that corner, didn't like it, so we moved it out here and seems to be doing better. You can see my rhubarb is doing really good. So we're having some rhubarb pie soon. And then this is the menagerie. This is kind of just where we dumped all the big pots last year. So I've been kind of breaking down the soil. We might come in with the tiller and just kind of break that all up, and then I'll use it to kind of flush out some of the beds here. You can see we've had some erosion, need some new soil. I'll put that in there. My stilby's doing good back there. And this, my sweet woodruff, filling in this shady area really nice where nothing else really wanted to grow. My lilac looks like it is just getting ready. It's going to be opening up some buds soon. My hollyhocks, which these are from last year's, coming back. And then these little ones here are the ones we planted the other day. And it's looking a little dry. I'm going to have to water up here. My Magilia's all right coming back, I think. So, yeah, that's going to be blooming soon. Well, my next plan for right now is I'm going to be cutting off all the lids to my winter sowing containers because they're just sitting here and they really need to get a lot more sun than they're getting. In order for me to plant them out, I got to start hardening them off. So they do get a bit of shade here in the afternoon because of the fence and the trees. So it'll be perfect. My peony's looking a little dry too. We've had so much rain, it's hard to think that I have to actually start watering stuff again. But all right, so let's start chopping those off.